The word of the day for today, January 13th, 2022, is will o' the wisp. Will o' the wisp. I was very excited to see this. This is a phrase that has come through fantasy narratives, media, books, video games, those types of things. And so it's been in my atmosphere, been in my orbit for a long time. And, there have been moments of curiosity where I've wondered, what the heck is this? So there's that combination of familiarity and strangeness to it. So it is a noun, and it is a flitting phosphorescent light seen at night, chiefly over marshy ground, and believed to be due to spontaneous combustion of gas from decomposed organic matter. Interesting. Okay, so that definitely aligns with my experience in video games and fantasy literature. And one of the more lush definitions of a word that I have read, like you can really see what the heck will o' the wisp. You get an image in your mind from that description. I like that. Almost feel what it'd be like to walk to the edge of the marsh, or walk along the edge of the marsh and then see that. So the origin, oh my gosh, it's incredibly interesting. Right off the bat, it is not what I expected. Will o' the wisp is an abbreviation of will with the wisp. And will is short for William. And strangely enough, wisp is the least interesting so far, even though it is also very interesting. It refers to a small bundle of straw or hay that is lit for use as a torch. Okay. Wisp, I would say, was the part that I thought I was the most interested to learn about. But it turns out that William of the Wisp, William with the Wisp. Okay, I'm starting to see how this is coming together now. Okay. So this, along with the name Jack, were used kind of because of their common use as a name in England. That's how it gets. So apparently jack-o'-lantern and will o' the wisp, right? So Jack was literally referring to a person named Jack, or not any specific person, but a person, one. And so then they end up being used. Will, or William, and Jack were used as stock names for the mythical figure who carried a light in marshland at night. Huh. Blowing my mind here, dictionary.com. From there, I haven't read the examples yet, but I am struggling to figure out where, other than fantasy literature, games, etc., where this might be useful and how it may end up in my particular vernacular. Let's take a look at these examples. All right, one of them is a discussion of the facts of the understanding the will of the wisp effect, so more technical and scientific. Okay. So I think more likely I would end up there's less figurative value in this in the in obviously in the practical, what causes it, how does it work. um, but the second example on dictionary.com talks about um, the multiple interpretations of the will o' the wisps, and that in some cases they're dangerous. But in some cases they are uh, benevolent, marking the path to treasure, or um, there to sort of ward off travelers, to cause them to avoid um, going into ground that they shouldn't be walking on. Um, Other concepts, spirits of the dead trapped on earth, looking for salvation by claiming other souls. So I think those are all, these different facets, or that gives us an option to describe. I think maybe people. So here's an instance an actual creative instance I can think of, right? Like the old man with the shovel from Home Alone, right? Like if he worked in a graveyard, you would think as a child, like if he was carrying a lantern, or right, you could not literally be, he wouldn't necessarily be like literally a will o' the wisp, but you could use the concept of the will o' the wisp to describe that the feeling, the mixed feelings of a person, let's say, I mean, I'm saying child because, right, everything becomes more mundane and pragmatic as you get older. And you realize, right, that a person, people work in graveyards. So, right, there isn't that much mystery to it. People are doing their job there. But to see as a child, this sort of, you have the experience. If you see somebody working at night in a graveyard, or late in the evening, the sun is set, whatever, maybe it's winter, so it's setting a little bit earlier. There's a sort of there can be an eerie mythical type of experience that you could use will o' the wisp to describe.